Hello everyone, I'm Maureen and I would love to welcome you to another Talk with Angel. So today I want us to have a heart-to-heart discussion. So today I want to tell you guys how I found Christ, how I lost him, how I found him again. I want to tell you guys about how I have dealt with depression, anger, um, sin. So, guys, fasten your seatbelts and let's jump right into it. So guys, I've always been a church girl, as in I have always been in church. I've always been going to church, but I decided to live for Christ. I gave my life to Christ in 2010, and on March 10th, 2010, that day I got baptized. And before I got baptized, I asked that the Holy Spirit will fill me up, and that the Spirit of God will be evident in my life through the speaking of tongues. And of course, God granted my request. I started speaking in tongues. Started praying tongues. Um, I sat for Beckett that year, 2010, and I was fortunate enough to get accepted into the annual Memorial School where I attend my senior school education. So fast forward to 2014 when I sat for the WAS exams. Um, After the WAS exams, I kind of got a little bit distracted from the things of God. I got a little bit carried away. Let me just say it that way. And I stopped going to church. Like I would go to church maybe once in a while. Yeah. So when the VAS results came out, I got my requirements, and all my life I have always wanted to be a medical doctor. So I purchased the form for College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, Commerce, and I came back home. I was staying with my brother by then. I came back home and I photocopied the form. I filled out the rough copy, transferred it to the original copy, and then dropped it at the office. And fortunately enough, or luckily enough, or I don't know, I was shortlisted for an interview. I was praying like, God, I need to get into commerce at all costs. I didn't ask for the will of God. I didn't even care about his will. All I knew was that I wanted to enter into College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences. So I remembered that I was preparing for the interview. I was reading through my books, chemistry, physics, like just going through brainstorming. Like someone told me that they asked really, really tedious questions, and I didn't want to like flop my chance of getting into my dream school of study, my dream university of study. So, and the day of the interview came, I prayed and I said, God, as I'm going, just favor me, help me to enter into College of Medicine. That will just make me really, really happy. Let me just enter and we'll battle there. We'll just do the battle there. And so I went for the interview. I remember, I think the only question that asked me was that I should produce my documents and what was my name, and I gave them my name. And there's like the name on my birth certificate and the name that I'm using. It's I won't actually say different. Like I have like a really long name on my birth certificate, and I just shortened it to Maureen Chukwulose. Like the name on my birth certificate is Maureen Kejugu Mariam Alose, and they asked why I decided to just use the Maureen Chukwulose. Why did I leave out the K and the Mariam? I was like, well, I don't know. I think maybe that was the name that was registered for me when I started going to school, and so I just decided to keep up with it and not to actually change anything. So guys, when the names for the shortlisted candidates came out for like those that have been accepted, I was again lucky or blessed to be on the list. So I started preparing my books, my notes, but then it was the time for Ebola, so we didn't actually open the time we were anticipating, and we took some months, but we actually opened later on, and lectures started, and I was feeling like on top of the moon, and all my dream was coming through. I was going to be a doctor. Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. I met like really like some really wonderful people there who like impacted my life one way or another. And um I won't actually say I was a struggling student. In fact, I was doing uh better to my expectation. Then I won't actually say I was a struggling student here. um I was doing well in physics, in maths, chemistry, biology, although I was like struggling a bit with physics. um So, guys, let me just say this. While I was busy studying and busy focusing on my education, I actually lost like lost this kind of connection with God. So I'll just like ask from God, like ask from Him, like whenever I need Him, I'll come to Him. But I never really had like this close or intimate relationship with Him any longer, like I used to. Yeah, like back in 2011, 12, when I was spent time reading my Bible, 2013 reading my Bible, memorizing scriptures, actually asking for God's will. No, in, like I went to college to study. I don't need distractions. I didn't need any form of distractions. As far as Slepis was concerned, that is the Sierra Leone Evangelical forum for students, I think. As far as Slepis was concerned, I would only pop in like once in a while, once in a while. So I was not really like concerned about evangelism or even developing my own personal relationship with Christ. Yeah. Uh, I loved God. Yes, I loved God. And I appreciated Him, but I didn't really care about His will concerning any area of my life. And yeah, and I think we started lectures in 2015. I can't actually remember the month, in 2015, and we sat to our final exams. Every one of us went on breaks. Whew, well, a day that actually changed my entire life and outlook on life was February 12th, 2016. That is a day that I will never forget. It was on a Friday, and I was in the kitchen. Yeah, I was cooking rice and I was dancing. Like I put on this praise song. I don't even know why I was dancing, but like a day before, I had a dream that results came out and my name was not on the list. But I didn't actually pray about it or thought much about it. Yeah. So I was in the kitchen. I was dancing to some praise songs, dancing, and I think maybe an hour later, I actually took some photos of that day, and I'm going to show you those photos at the end of this discussion. I'm going to show you those photos. Yeah, so I was really happy, but then an hour or two later, I got a call from a friend. She was like, Maureen, results are out and you have been withdrawn. I was like, yay. So where did you see this? She's like, the result is already in the group. I will like, we had a WhatsApp forum. Our class had WhatsApp forum, and the results had already been posted. I went to the group, downloaded the results, and my name was like on the list of people that have been withdrawn from the university. And I I just rushed. Like, my mom was in the sitting room with her sister, with her elder sister. I just rushed. I went and fell down on my mom's lap, and I was crying. Like, when I say crying, like ugly crying, and I just bowed my head on her laps, and I was like, I am finished, I am done. Like, that day I watched my dreams, like these dreams that I have built over like decades, being crushed. Like, for me, I had no plan B when it came to my career. I had no plan B. No, absolutely no plan B. This was the only plan that I had. I wanted to be a doctor, and that was it. I don't care whether it was God's will or not. All I knew was that I wanted to be a doctor at all cost. So I bowed my head on my mom's lap, and I was praying like, I'm done. And my mom was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I said, I've been withdrawn from College of Medicine. She was like, who told you this? Who told? I said, and my friend called me and she told me. I said, I even went to the group and I saw the results. My name was on the list of those that have already been withdrawn. Like, my aunt was at home. I went into my aunt's room. Like, she was she was saying, why are you crying? And I couldn't even explain myself. My mom had to say, she has been withdrawn from College of Medicine, and that's why she's crying. Few hours later, I think my brothers came around trying to encourage me. And I remembered I went to the restroom. I laid on the floor and I was weeping, like I was sobbing, like, God, why does it have to be me? Why is this happening to me? Like, that was the first time I had ever faced academic failure. Like, that was the first time in my life. Those that know me know that I've never like repeated the class. And so that was like a very big blow for me. But I guess years later, I've come to realize that God took me to that point and broke me so that I would know that I I can only go far in life with Him. Yeah, so it was on Friday, so I couldn't go to the exams office, and it was already late, maybe like 4, 5, and um Saturday came. I was still like depressed. Like, my aunt had to like take me out from my room and then take me to the kitchen to even get something to eat. And one thing that I'm really, really grateful for, one thing that I'm really thankful for, is the kind of family that God blessed me with. Like, my family, they are so supportive. They're like really, really, really supportive. And I'm so blessed to have them in my life. Like, I don't know what I would have done without them at that particular time. Yeah, so on Monday, which was the 15th of February, um we went we went to the exams office. My aunt, my elder brother, we went to the exams office. We tried to like inquire whether I could at least see my result. Let me just know where I like, I don't know, I failed and why I was withdrawn. We couldn't get my results. Like, we went there several times. They couldn't just produce my results. So my brother was like, okay, so we know like one of the lecturers, and so we decided to go to him and ask him what I got in the subject in chemistry. And okay, so he told me that I got distinction in chemistry. I went, he asked the biology lecturer and the maths, and I also got distinction. So I got distinction in chemistry, biology, and maths. And maybe I just had a problem with physics. Yes, I was struggling with physics, but I was expecting maybe a 50. So just like boost me up and don't just send me over. Yeah, so I guess I had a problem with physics. I can never really know because we couldn't get a hold of the physics lecturer. And we tried like, and the only option that came up was that I should repeat the classes, because they had actually like withdrawn us, and they told us to go and wait maybe after 1 or 2 years and then come back and reapply. But then after much pleading from our parents and ourselves, we we um we got concession. And my brother was like, this is an opportunity, this is another opportunity, go at it again and repeat the class. And I remember them telling me that, and me being in the city room and crying, like, and telling them that I'm not going to repeat. Look, I can't repeat. For me, failure was definitely not an option. Like, I was not programmed to fail. That was me. That has been me. In fact, I don't do well with failures. And so, um, my brother wrote the letter, put it in an envelope. They actually put me in the car and drove me all the way to New Englandville, and for me to drop the letter. And it was accepted, and I was given concession to repeat the pre-med one. Okay, so lecture started, and I didn't was not actually like interested. Like, I had lost my passion. Like, my for me, my dream of becoming a doctor has already been killed. It was dead already. Like, I had no zeal or no passion in me to even study or even read. And imagine during those times, like, the only thing I prayed for was like, God, please let this be a dream. Like, let it be a bad dream that I'm going to wake up from. But it was not a dream, it was a reality, and I had to face it. So college reopened, and some of my colleagues called me, are you coming, are you going to come? I was like, okay, I will come on Monday. So I went. I think I attended lectures for 1 week, and then I stopped going altogether. But by then, I actually decided to like chop off my hair. Yeah, so the Bible says the glory of a woman is in her hair. So for me, I told you that, okay, you know what, I've lost my glory, so I might as well just chop off this hair. I came back home and I sat there and I told them, you know what, I'm not going to repeat. I'm not going to repeat. I'm going to like think and see what I want to do. And my family was there again. They were supportive. They were like, okay, let's give you time. Think over what you want to do again with your life, and we can see how it can help you. And I sat for like a year at home because the academic year was already started. I can't apply to another university because the year was already rolling by. I had to wait for like a new year before I can apply for maybe another course. So I went into like this very deep place, this place of depression. I was angry. I was angry at God. Like, why would you do this to me? Don't you love me? Do you hate me? So I went into this place of depression, and I became like, I pulled away from God. Yeah, like the whole time I would talk to God during those days where I have to tell him I'm tired and I just want to stay in my room and cry my eyes out. So I went to I actually started living like a fool. So I would say uh, I started doing things that to me was like hurting God. Like, I wanted to hurt God back. Failing to realize that I was actually hurting myself. I went to this place where iniquity or immorality like was nothing for me. I don't care what I say. I don't care what I do. So I became like a walking talking corpse, so to say, because when you lose this connection with your source, which is God, then you are a dead man walking. So I became dead. Yeah. So I would just move along. I didn't even care to ask for repentance. At that particular point, I didn't even care whether I died. But then God was so merciful. I totally moved away from him. I totally like just totally moved away from God, and I was like in this my own deep, deep space. But even through all of that, God was so merciful and so gracious. Please, guys, you have to bear with me because this video is going to be like a bit long. Yeah, so there was this particular day. It was on a Sunday. I can't actually remember the day. So everyone went out. I think they went to the beach, and I said, no, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to stay home. I want to sleep. That's what I said. But as soon as everyone went, I shut the doors, and I was in there. I was in my room. I was on the floor, and I was crying. Like I was crying, even though my family was there with me, even though they were supporting me. But to me, I was a failure. Yeah. So I was in my room, I was crying, and something like a thought just popped in my mind and said, um, why are you here crying? I mean, you can just end all of this misery. Your life is miserable. You're so unfortunate. And it's not as if you were not brilliant or you were not studying. God doesn't love you. Why not just walk into the kitchen, take a knife, and then just end your life? So I was very suicidal at that point. This is something that I've never really shared deeply with anyone. And so I walked to this sitting room, and the TV was on. I was like, "Oh, okay, let me see what's going on." So the TV kind of took my attention a little bit away from the thoughts. Although I was actually heading to the kitchen, but then I diverted and went into the sitting room because the TV was on. And there was this man of God that was preaching here. And I can't actually remember his face anymore. I can't actually remember his name. I can't remember the date. I was really disorientated. Like, I don't even know what was going on. And this man of God said, okay, so there's someone right now, and you're watching us, and you're suicidal, like you want to commit suicide. But God wants me to reassure you that He loves you. And if you're that person, just walk up to the TV and let me just pray for you. And I walked up to the TV, and I touched the TV, the screen, and the man prayed, and I felt like this body being lifted up. But trust me, guys, um, the depression did end, but the suicidal thoughts stopped from that day on forward. And I would be in my room, I would cry my eyes out. And so after much thought, because there was like this guy that um um one of my classmates, and he actually told me to go read public health, but I never really thought about it. So I decided, you know what, let me go read public health. But that time I was wise enough, so I actually prayed, even though like I was at war with God, or we were like fighting at that time. I actually prayed and said, God, just have mercy upon me and help me out. I want to go to Shala University. I want to read public health, but you have to like help me out here. And please, if this is your will, then let it come to pass. But if it is not your will, then I just surrender everything to you. And I told my aunts and her husband. I told my brothers about it, my mom, and they were all supportive. They're like, yeah, public health is a good course. You can go and read public health, and if later on you decide to come back and read medicine, that's good. And so I bought the forms for Jala University because the academic year was already rolling. And I applied, I got shortlisted, went for an interview, and I went to Jala University. Yeah. So that's this is the part one of what I've been through, and the part two will be coming up shortly. Yeah. So stay tuned for part two if you want to know what happened at Jala University, how I rededicated my life back to Christ. Then stay tuned, and please don't forget to like this video and share it. Yeah. So next time, till part two, I have been Maureen. Chigu Blessing, your wonderful host. Please, 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 please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and see you all in the next video.